Is this your first time here?
Mm-hmm.
It is your first, not yours.
No, my husband comes up more than me.
Yeah. Okay. But
I have been up a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
A Rocha is an environmental organisation, which is probably different from any other organisation in the world because it comes with a Christian ethos behind it, a Christian background, and it started something very close to 30 years ago, and it actually started here in Portugal, and this was the first centre ever opened in 1987. So Rocha started in 83, but only managed to open the centre in 87. And right from the very beginning, our study area was this one that you see here in this model. And we've been investing a lot of time in doing environmental research. It started with the birds, and the birds still play a major role in our work, as you're going to see this morning. But later on, different fields got in. The plants was the second field to come in, and later on the insects, like the moth work, also started in the early 90s. The plants, I think, started in 1990. And then characterization of habitats and habitats quality assessment and all that kind of stuff. So it became part of A Rocha's work. Being an environmental organisation, of course, one of our major concerns is to contribute to nature conservation. And we do this both with environmental research and also with environmental education. So that started about 20 years ago. We're actually celebrating the 20th anniversary of environmental education. And that's what this room is all about, really. And the reason why everything is so low is so that children can reach and can see and touch and smell and most of all lose fear for things, because once they lose fear they start admiring the beauty in the small details of things. We have the hope that they will start to understand, to accept and to protect what they have at their doorstep. And of course the other role together with all this is environmental advocacy, which in the last years really actually meant advocacy work in the sense of we are involved in a legal fight to protect the area here, and we had to get a lawyer and all this, and it's all in court and all that. So
But it's still going on then, that?
it is still going on, I'm afraid. So are you familiar with the problem? You heard of it?
Is it? I did actually read a little bit of something. Was it to do with basically building work? Are they looking to change the estuary or something?
It's not the estuary, it's the marshes actually.
The marsh.
These two marshes.
Right.
And yes, it is related with building, with real estate development. But nothing has happened in the sense of building. The only thing that has happened was the destruction of a marsh, the whole destruction of this marsh, and surgical work on this one, which was aiming to remove a plant, which is one of the bioindicators for a particular habitat. So by removing that plant, we would no longer be in position to claim that there was that particular habitat, and therefore the ground would be open for further development. And the idea would be for some sort of a fish farm here, and for some sort of either a golf course or even a marina there. And of course hotels and villas in the centre. And golf course as well. So it was a major deal. It's because the landowner here, he owns pretty much everything down here belongs to him except a triangle here in the centre. Otherwise, actually, this small triangle. Otherwise, everything belongs to him. So it's a little bit over 200 hectares. And so we've been having some fun with that. Some tense moments, some victories moments actually, and we're waiting for the verdict. But by the looks of it, it's going to take a while because they are still doing some further requests, and the other institutions, there has been some trouble going on. I don't know. Anyway.
And lawyers are expensive.
And lawyers are expensive, and this meant that we had to develop, involve or dedicate actually a great amount of our time to do sort of legal work in order to support our lawyer. Otherwise, he would be really badly prepared, because there is very little history in Portugal for legal court things related with environment. And therefore, he would be in the dark, just as much as the other lawyer, the one defending the other side, was. And she made a very bad job. And we think that they didn't plan things very well. Either they are overconfident, or they're going to bribe the judge, or something like that. we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Anyway, so over all these years, we managed to prove the existence of over 300 species of birds, over 600 species of moths, and actually it's really well over, because there's also the micro moths, so really tiny ones, and we've only started paying attention to those recently, about 2 years ago, and there's a world there. Reda, that girl, she's doing also her work in coleopters, the beetles, and that's another world. Just for you to have an idea, she went to the university last Tuesday to check up some things that she had. She wasn't sure in the identification, and the teacher said, "There's no way you can do this because 1/4 of every animal is a beetle in the earth, in the planet. Yeah. 1/4 of every animal species it's a beetle. Yeah. So 25% of the world species, not plants and not bacteria or the invertebrates, not those, but all the other ones, 1/4 are beetles." So she said, at the best case scenario, you can dedicate yourself to one family and get to know that family well, but you cannot know everything in the world. No. So she's a little bit more relieved that she wasn't being able to find. But Reda, how many different families have you found in beetles here? She only started doing this research about 8 months ago.
Yeah, I didn't count, but at least 10, 15.
Okay, and how far can you go? Because you have more than those species.
Some I can go to species level, but some just genus or subfamily.
Okay, and on the summing up all that up, how many?
More than 100 species.
Okay, in just 8 months of work.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have well over 500 species of vascular plants. And in this tiny little thing, this is 1,000 hectares, this area here. In 1,000 hectares we have 19 different kinds of habitats, 2 of which are of priority conservation status. We have 1 priority conservation status plant, also it's unique in the whole world. It only exists in southwest Portugal, so between Cape St. Vincent, and actually our population here is the easternmost population. And so we've discovered wonderful things about this area, and that's why for us it is so important to fight for it. And now going back to the moth work, which was what I had promised to you. The moth work started in the early 90s, as I told you, and basically it was just like so many other things that started here with A Rocha. It starts with a volunteer that has a particular skill and a particular field of work that likes to work, proposes that and starts, and then we try to keep it ongoing. If it is really a valid work, this is really interesting, we should invest, we should search for people to come and work on this, and then yeah. So that's how it starts. There are 2 ways for catching moths. One is with a mercury vapor lamp, light bulb, which is the one that we're using these mornings. So I'm going to take you to the moth trap in a while. It's very similar to those light bulbs that we have on the streets, and they are massive. There's a massive white, bright light, and just sucks in every moth from the neighborhood. And the bats love it because it means there's a free food available for them. When you put the light on, immediately you start seeing it within half an hour, 3 or 4 bats flying around it, so they love it. It's just like in a street lamp. If you stop by a street lamp, you're probably going to see a couple of bats flying around. There's another type of battery, another type of trap, which is a UV trap, ultraviolet light trap. And that has a much more reduced capacity of attraction. It usually only attracts moths in an array of 10-15 meters, which is particularly good if you want to do a study on the local moths. Like my wife, she has just finished her master's, and she was doing a work on the role of moth in pollinating networks. So what is the role? Everybody talks about bees, but there are a lot more insects that participate on the pollination of plants, and moth is one of them, but nobody knew anything about it. And so she did a work on that, but as she was working in a small plot of land, she didn't want to attract moths from 2 kilometers away, because without the other bright light it can attract moths from 2 kilometers away. That one should only attract them very near, and so it's very good for that kind of research. But tonight we used, or last night we used the other moth. Maybe now it's the time to take you to the trap, just to show you what the trap looks like, and what they do, and then we come back here for you to have, is it for people to have a go at trying to identify the moth? Okay.
Good luck.
So shall we go to the